he was going and mocked my fatness and movies. Ah, shut up, you fat fuck.
Welcome to Babylon 5.
Zappers knew you would come.
I think I'll stick my head in the station's fusion plant, but...
You've lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
We are in the process of building the future.
Rangers never fly.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
Well, I guess I'm gonna start talking now because it's Monday and it's 4:32, and yeah, I guess we're doing Babylon 5. Can't really match last week with Patricia Tallman, but hey, we're back. Episodes 19 and 20 of season 3. Gray 17 is missing, and we also have "And the Rock Cried Out." No hiding place. Both I found out to be great episodes. I've watched them twice today in a row, and I still get a giggle out of certain points. And without further ado, while the rest of my panel is still trying to find where Twitter is and the StreamYard link is, let's bring up the panel. The first we have up at Dag Outlaw. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Next we have Kate.
Hello.
Hello. And the one who made it while putting down his Fortnite FIBA controller, Jeebus.
Hey.
Jeebus.
Turn off the PlayStation, Monkey. Just turn it off right now. Just turn it off.
All right.
Ah! I knew it. The season's addictive. I know. And with that, yeah, we're getting this episode. So let's take a quick look at the chat. First of all, we have Will in the wrong stream. Fuck this fucking kids game. Thank you, Will. Oh wait, wrong stream, bugger. Yep, definitely. Archer calling afternoon and evening all. Yes, afternoon and evening, and good morning, depending where you are. We have Arwen Ablin who says ho 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 to you, Will, also known as Grumpy Cat. And we have Sir Percelot, meow to all, and a perfect evening. Yeah, I can't roll my tongue, but I do agree. And we also have, I saw someone else in the chat earlier. Where did they go? We have a hail all from Das Wolfen. Hello, Das Wolfen. And I'm a figment of your imagination. That's what I say to everyone who thinks I'm eating too much. That's from Black Dragon. And, of course, we have Stream Elements as normal and Shane Nolan. Hello. We're waiting for Keith and everyone else to show up, but we're getting in there. How are you guys all doing as we're getting closer to Christmas? How's it going?
Special.
How special?
Very special. Not quite Jerry Lewis special, but very special.
And right away, Perslot and like others are already waiting for the memes ticker talk. You guys all want that. All right, you want? All right.
Well, hey. I mean, at this point, is Keith on memes time? Is that the thing?
Right.
Yeah. I'll be like, when will memes arrive? And I'm just gonna put yes and no as the actual question.
Right.
And there's Keith. Hi, Keith.
Hi, Keith. So he's not on memes time.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Good. Good news. Today I did reach out to Claudia Christensen, and I'm waiting for a reply. And I have a new member to the channel. That is Das Wolfen. Thank you, Das Wolfen, for supporting the fat. Check out your emojis and other promises I can never keep.
Thank you, Das Wolfen.
Thank you so much. And brother, because you did that, I will give you this one. No. Give me money. Give me money. Thank you for giving me your money. And we're also live on Twitch and YouTube because, of course, I like hitting both platforms with my girth. How's he doing, Keith? How's everyone doing? Like, I can't match last week, can we? Naked riding on dragons, 64-year-old tits. We can't beat it.
You know what? Life is full of surprises. That's all I can say.
No shit.
He hasn't been able to sleep since.
I don't think so. I think he's been watching on record going, All I want for Christmas is some. Never mind, I'm not finishing that.
Wow.
But yeah. Don't say. Come on, man. I'm literally gonna take every time you say "wow" from a Babylon 5 stream, and I'm just gonna clip it together and be like, "Wow, wow, yes, these are my parents.
That's
These are
all
my
I'm
friends."
Wow.
Did your mom have a talk with you after last week?
It's like, why you gotta be
You
so
know,
mean
it's-
to that lovely lady who's just an actress and a stunt double? She needs all the time she can get. Put your hand down next time. You had it up way too long for 64-year-old knockers.
There are times they get worried. You know, just a little worried.
Yeah, it was great, and we had 2 great episodes, and happy holidays to everyone there. We're getting close, man. I can't wait. I really can't. And if you really want to torture yourself, watch Santa Inc. and then don't come complain to me.
I mean, if we're gonna be objective, the last good thing Seth Rogen did was Pineapple Express, and that was like 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
never saw it.
I mean, it's a stoner movie. It's what you think it'd be. So, if that's not your thing, then you probably won't like it, and that's fine.
I just don't like his stuff. Never have. So I just don't bother.
Yeah. He was fine when he was nobody, and then he got an ego. I thought he was super cool when he never was.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of truth to that.
But first things up first, Gray 17 is missing. Thoughts, guys? As I bring up some pictures, because we get a lot of stuff in here. We get a Minbari versus Marcus fight. We get this creepy ass puppet that's just like, damn. Oh my god.
These 2 are like 2 of my favorites, actually. I love when Robert Englund does things that aren't Freddy, because he's just so spectacular in these kind of sagey roles.
He keeps doing a hand thing too.
I know.
Right.
It was so exciting, and the glasses just like make it so out of his norm, like supposedly, but it's not. He's just brilliant.
Hello, Polomies. Yeah, I agree. That puppet was creepy as hell, but I still want it.
Yeah.
It looks like it feels like what happens to Jeff Dunham when he retires. That's what's coming to his puppets.
Right.
I
was
thought
thinking the same thing.
I thought it was like a throwback to Twilight Zone, because it's almost the exact same face as the one creepy episode with the talking puppet.
Maybe I don't remember that episode, but when I heard the puppet talk, I got a flashback of what Arnold's Total Recall. Get ready for a surprise. I heard that voice, and I was just like, wow, this sounds familiar for some reason. You shouldn't be down here. This is great. You know, I was like, oh shit.
That actually does look like the. I knew it looked familiar. I think you're right with the Twilight Zone puppet. That looks very, very similar.
Yeah, it could be the same props if they're living if they had the availability of it too. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Or replica they ended up making their own thing out of.
Probably much. What about you, Keith? What's on your mind?
Well, you know, I mean, getting close to the end of the year, trying to finish my list of the best pop culture stuff for the year as far as movies and television shows.
Where'd that come from?
Thank you for being helpful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, honestly, I would tip my hat at least to the Netflix series Arcane. I would also tip my hat to even Joe Exotic and the Tiger King. Both parts. Like honestly, I can. It sucks you in. Lost in Space hasn't been bad. The new season just dropped. If we're looking at it from that point of view, there's probably been some great anime. For me, it was Black Clover. It's probably a little bit older, but when you're going through 187 episodes nonstop, it's a ride.
You know what? There is one more thing. You know, today is the anniversary of the release of Star Trek, the motion picture.
Oh, feature.
Are you one of the fans of the first movie?
I like the movie a lot because it is science fiction. It may not be everybody's speed, but it is science fiction. And and it is, in my mind, an incredible achievement in so much as that, you know, I still have never heard of a television series that has ever gone off the air and been out of the public eye for technically a decade, and to come back as a major motion picture of this size and length. And because of this movie and the way it was made and who actually shepherded this movie through production, it helped to change everything thereafter. You know, Disney became the Disney that a lot of you grew up with because of this movie. Because you had the two Wonderkins at Paramount who shepherded that movie through production and eventually ended up heading up Disney a few years later, and then making all the changes that made everything that you know Disney for happen. So
I agree with you. I was one of the big fans as well, because for Next Generation, the theme song for the movie became the theme song for the series. The Klingons, their whole look and feel, the way their society was built up, changed.
Really,
from the movie.
this is Star Trek: The Next Generation. Really, all it is just a updated and redone version of this.
Yep.
If you go 1-to-1 from the Star Trek Phase 2 series to this movie and how it was put together to Star Trek: The Next Generation, it's all technically the same thing.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So, I mean, you really wouldn't even literally have Star Trek: The Next Generation without this.
Except they had
because all your characters are there.
Yeah, that is pretty freaking cool. I have a story to share too. I'm also wondering where your vest is.
Getting dry cleaned.
Oh, okay. I can relate something today. Today I had a lovely sleep. It was interrupted by my foot kicking my fan, knocking the screen off, followed by another kick that broke the blade off while it was spinning.
Oh my god!
Wow.
In my sleep, yeah.
So
I'm okay. The fan blades now wobble if I turn it on anymore, and it sounds like it's trying not to throw up Cheetos. So you won't hear that noise anymore.
Seagull kick.
Damn right. That was an Aikido sleep fight. You gotta know the moves, even when you're unconscious. You gotta fight those nightmares. And when people at the buffet are getting in the way of my chicken wings, I'll knock you out.
Not entirely sure fighting fans will make you money though.
Fans? I don't know.
Ah,
God, I was fighting my fans. That's a good one. Oh, that was dead. You got a Dega to laugh. Oh my god, that's a Dega joke. That's like a dad joke right there. That was good.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
called a pun.
I know what puns are. PUNN.
That's very funny.
Oh god, I'm gonna fire you in a minute. You know, I'm gonna put that.
I'm sorry. That
like
last
Godfather.
attempt by me was punned up, but you know. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do it again? What I meant to say was.
Hey, Keith, you're causing me a lot of punishment.
Oh, that was so bad. We had to spell it.
Chat, I would also like to remind you that Keith is still doing this.
Oh man.
Is that a Cabernet, Keith, or more of a white wine? It's definitely Cabernet.
Well, you know.
Oh my god.
You got to save the white wine for the special times.
Oh, there's puns. Oh, I see. Zax has finally made it up, and he's quickly saying Keith had me at size and length. There you go, Keith.
Shrimp and white wine.
Red wine. Jimmy, get out of the window. But back to Grace 17 is missing because I'm missing my sanity in about 5 minutes. Yeah, so we got multiple things here. We got the warrior caste showing up, trying to take command of the Rangers, saying that now that they have been trained and they have put up with not only humans working side by side and Sinclair training and the one, they just want to take over. And we see, well, I guess, a familiar face again. And it's pretty much her and Delenn and him laying kind of like a vocal smackdown we're seeing in the hallways. And it's pretty much like, you guys didn't stand up when I asked, so hey, we did our own thing. And they were like, hey, well, since you did all this great work, all of a sudden they want to take over it because they're just the warrior caste. And it's like, F off. Someone's microwave?
No, that's it. diffuse.
Sorry, no pizza rolls for you.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Hello, Sherry. I see you there too. And yeah, where do you want to go with this next? Because I don't want to be talking the whole time. I need a nap.
I had never put 2 and 2 together. Never. Until
Which
Kate
two?
brought this up. That this is Nightmare on Elm Street guy.
Oh, you didn't. You've never seen him much out of his. Oh.
Nope.
He's done. Like, isn't he in Tremors though? Or have you not seen Tremors? I don't remember.
I saw. Well, I technically was present when there was a Nightmare on Elm Street movie being shown when I was in high school, but I paid more attention to the girl that was in my lap than I was the show. So I never got to see it. So I couldn't put 2 and 2 together.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he's done a lot of this kind of role with indie stuff. I don't remember any of the production's names, but it's not new to him, and I don't know if he's ever done theater, like Broadway, off-Broadway theater.
He's done a little theater.
Okay, so yeah, it's unfortunate that people only know Robert Englund for his horror role, which isn't bad, but like he's way more deep than that. He's very enjoyable.
I enjoyed him in the television, short-lived television series Nightmare Cafe. I really enjoyed him in that. You've never seen Nightmare Cafe?
Oh, never seen it.
Oh, as soon as the show's over, you got to Google that. I think there are probably a few episodes.
Freddy's Nightmare.
Yes, he was. But yeah, Nightmare Cafe was a short-lived series that kind of put a little bit of a spin on kind of like the Twilight Zone, except excuse me, except that you had a group of characters who were always a part of the show each week, and they weren't really introducing different stories. They were kind of like playing host as the person that would be guest starring in that episode would have certain situations they had to take care of. But Nightmare Cafe was wow. I still can't believe that it was an NBC series. You know, I was surprised it lasted as long as it did, but for the episodes that they were able to get out there, Robert Englund did a fantastic job playing Blackie.
Whoa. Can we say that?
Say what?
No, never mind, Keith.
No, you giving me a hard time, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a hard time, man. You want to fight about it? I'll come down there and kick your avatar's ass.
Oh, jeez, really?
You're just a head. I got a body. I don't know where I'm going. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But Shane Nolan and Archer also say that he was also Willie from the original V, as we see here and here. Yep. I'll be honest. I probably would know more roles, but I wouldn't know it's him unless I remember the film and the show.
I think he was in The Mangler or whatever. That one.
Here we go.
That's Stephen about the press.
Well, he certainly did make himself appear to be a very small man in this show. I think that was really well done.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if they're deliberately pulling from what's an artist turned scientist.
I think he was like Mark Hamill's roommate at one point.
Yeah, they probably were acquainted at some point in time. But this part in particular, I think they're kind of parodying a Walter Russell, but that could just be me. So the whole universe in your hand and energy and recycling and all that most people.
I think they just wanted to do like the Freddy Krueger hand.
Yeah, obviously he's that's gonna happen naturally, regardless of a role.
It's handy that way.
I'm gonna fire you.
What?
I don't know. You doing your goddamn puns.
What?
I don't know. It's probably I'm being weird today. It's all good.
Continue to finger me for crime.
I I got to take a few steps back because we're missing a very good scene. It was like a talent agency. We got Zach there trying to recruit more telepaths. We get this one guy's coming like, what's the pay? Well, what do I got to do? I'm like, well, it's not really pay. You get to go on an adventure. And I'm like, you're mocking them like the army right now. I know you are. You're the old campaigns and stuff. And he's like, what am I thinking right now? And he's like, oh, well, thank you. I am really cute. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. It's like they already got an telepath shaking their head. And I'm just like, you're literally trying to play a fast one, pretending you can read minds. And then he got away from the side core. And already Zach's like, I smell bullshit. Where's that coming from? Is that under the table? It's great. And then it's side core. Pardon?
Trust the side core.
All right, well, Keith, come on, come on, man. I want to hear some of your and everyone else's kind of stuff. I don't want to be talking the whole time. I do that too much. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, come on. I know you've been waiting for this. Come on.
Sorry.
We're getting close to Z minus 10 days. I know I'm not going to spoil that until later. We're getting there. We're getting to this thing. They brought that up earlier when we were waiting for everyone. It's a good sign.
Z minus 14.
Anyway, I'm sorry. My voice comes and goes, so let me power through this one.
We got like 60 days for foundation.
Anyway, you got Sheridan and the whole thing with Delenn taking over the Rangers, him thinking it's a great idea, which is easy for him since he doesn't have to worry about it for a few years. But oops. Anyway.
What the?
Hey, that was already.
I know.
Already released.
You are the one that is. You were the one that was. And you are the one that will be. Zathras knows, because Zathras has known all of you. Right? There we go. Is that right?
Very good. That is very well
Zathras knows. Yes, thank you. But yeah, and we got that, and we got Lanier going, I must break a promise by breaking it, but I must not break a promise by breaking a promise. You're sitting there going, how many times have we been through that? And you're sitting there in life just wondering. Like this episode was all over the place. It was all over the place because it was in different sections and it had multiple storylines, but it's still all fluid. We also had, what was it, Franklin as well? No, Franklin was the next one. But I can't spoil that one.
Well, I mean,
he's still on walkabout. Still, technically,
yes, he is.
Like
Ivanova goes to look for Franklin, and Franklin's got his issues.
Yeah,
which is really one big issue.
Withdrawals.
It is, and it's a great scene too, and he's a great actor.
Yeah, he nailed it pretty good.
He was. Mm-hmm. He was again. Man, he was just one of the nicest people. Just one of the nicest people. So,
but I think also the problem is that with Franklin's his whole attitude is he was. It's like looking at the Julian Bashir frontier medicine must save everyone. But the difference between Trek and this is that Franklin's actual actions had sometimes more serious consequences than you would say in the Star Trek universe, depending on the episode. And Franklin had to not only come to terms that there's sometimes the best thing to do as a doctor, especially with alien science and respecting alien culture, is you can't do anything. And I think he is going through that with the loss of that singer.
Yeah,
the loss of himself because of the stim addiction is that the withdrawal is probably hitting him like a hammer on so many. I'm not an addict to the point where I understand withdrawal symptoms. I can never put myself in that category, but I think it's not just the physical drain it's putting you through; it's the emotional flashbacks of what you are now remembering what you did while through this addiction, and it's kind of like a teeter-totter of where there's like no center ground.
I would think that because he's very scientific, he's also dealing with the fact that he knows exactly what his body's doing and he can't fight it. And he knows he can't fight it and he has to go through it physically. So there's that logicalness that makes it more, like, not necessarily easy, but it's like I know the end in theory and now I have to get there physically.
Yeah, that REO Speedwagon portion of it.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Put yourself, bro. We've almost been doing this a year. Think about this. We've been almost doing this a year.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. I wake up every day thinking how lucky I am to do this with you guys. So. Oh, wow. Excuse me. My voice there for a moment. Anyway, so
withdrawal symptoms make you discover who you really are. Yes, Arwen. I've heard stories that it puts you like outside of yourself in a way too. Like you're judging not only your soul but the vessel that contains it. My vocabulary is also going messed up. But yeah,
it was a few years ago. I was on some kind of heavy stuff for my cancer pains, and it changed my personality to where I was a real jerk to my family. So I decided, you know what, I ain't taking squat. I'm just going to deal with it. I'd rather deal with pains myself instead of my family dealing with pains. And they tell you one thing, you know, these aren't addictive or that, this, that, and the other. Or sometimes, you know, these opioids that are over the counter, they're not as bad as what they say. Well, it's a terrible thing. And when you get off of those things, if you went cold turkey like I did, finding yourself, I would say, or looking at yourself in a new way or rediscovering who you are, after the fact, maybe it's the thing about me having this logic for coming from a healthcare perspective and seeing what this stuff does to your reason is weird. It's really bizarre because I thought I knew what I was doing on it and then getting off of it thinking it made me into a complete idiot. But not just that, it has some serious, and I think this is pretty consistent with withdrawals from any type of addictive thing. There are physical repercussions as well. He played the part pretty well. I felt like that for several days. It took about 4 days to shake off what the doctor prescribed. And then I said, oh yeah, we're going to give you this new stuff that is non-addictive. And I got off of that too. And it was just as addictive as the other one. I lied. But no, his portrayal of someone who knew and had to go through it, he actually must have studied with somebody because I've been in that boat where he was. And yeah, it wasn't fun.
Sometimes we don't even know if you're actually like addicted or even trapped to a substance because you develop this reliance on it. And I probably was misinformed myself the way I presented it. I can't say what I was back in my younger days, but when they first put me on Ritalin, right? This is technically a subsidiary of methamphetamine or crystal meth, people call it because they group it in, and that stuff is a narcotic. Mm-hmm. And I had it through most of my elementary and high school life. And you eventually get to this point where you've done it so many times in routine that when you miss a couple of days and you start waning off it, it's not the same type of addiction. Like you're saying, like you're relying on it. You start seeing how much of your persona and your personality and yourself is drifting because you can't focus like you were the day before, or you're not functioning tasks the day before. You can't keep awake. And it's like, is this the real me when I'm not under this, or is this me because of this? And it throws you off because it's hard to find the real you. It doesn't have to be just about because you're suffering with pain like that. If that was me with the way my spine is, I used to smoke. I used to smoke a crap load of pot because I was in so much pain, and it just helped me numb out and not think about it. Then I stopped cold turkey because I was realizing I was smoking way too much. Too much money was going towards it. But when it came to like dealing with ADHD and ADD and not having that reliance that you know, or knowing that you can't function without it, you start wondering where the real self is and how much of the medication is taken over. And it's disheartening in a way. Am I making sense to you guys at all?
Mm-hmm.
You guys want
it's all chemicals. It's very literally chemistry, and it's a complex and difficult thing to process. Because if you live with something in which your brain essentially attacks itself because it's chemically imbalanced or is a physical reaction or what have you, it's hard to understand where you are and where it is and where a line may be. And having that under control can be very difficult task. Or wanting it under control can be a bad choice.
I think the hardest part for me was looking back at it. Beforehand, you would, at least in my mind, I see people that have been altered by medications and different things, and I would think, well, how weak are these people that a little drug can change their personality so much? And then I get on the flip side after going through it, going, I was a fool. This stuff really does beat the crap out of you.
I get that. I am extraordinarily lucky that the one prescription I picked did not have seizures. Like, I was living in the like this one or this one. I just flip a coin, make a choice kind of situation. And I picked one that works. And I didn't have the horrible side effects that the drug can have. And it's been extremely successful. So, very lucky in that regard. Just have to be on it my entire life.
And honestly, this is kind of a good way to have these type of conversations where the show can actually branch off and talk about these things, because sometimes we don't even know. Like, I'm honored because I have a friend out there, and I play a lot of games with him. He was like the first commenter that we were poking fun, and he not only shared his story with me, but I've gotten to know him over the last few months of this year as not only a good person but an honest soul, and that's Will. And we did an interview a couple months back, and he shared a story. He didn't have to share it with me, but he did. And it was one of those things where you got to know someone on a level that maybe you'll never travel that type of road. And because of him, I believe I became a better person knowing his story and knowing that even if you fall or things happen, you have that road of recovery where you can become something better. And I'm proud to call him my friend. The same way I'm proud to call a lot of you guys my friends, because of how just a simple story can create bonds.
Well said.
And that's one of these things that Babylon 5 can do. Star Trek used to do as well. That's what the whole thing with layering is. It has the ability to not force you to think on what you should do or how you should think or how you should call this or how you need to pronoun that, but it makes you think on how you interpret the world and how you can act accordingly based off yourself, not on the demands of others coming for you. And I just think if anyone has people like that share a story or have an issue and they're willing to open up to you, give them both ears. It'll be the best couple hours, maybe months, years of your life.
Hear, hear.
Yeah. I think well-written stories or characters that have a sense of self are much more relatable, because that it's not necessarily a humanizing thing, but it's the details. Because it's like, oh, I happen to like this or that. Like, I think the best part of this episode, while it's very heavy and has some great acting and all that, is when Delenn walks in and it's like, I looked up this word and then it told me about this other word. No wonder you're such an eccentric culture. It was like, yeah, exactly. That is how I feel about humans too. And it's not supposed to have that response, but it does.
Well, I mean, it's look, well-written material, well-rounded characters, and solid.
What does that mean? What does well-rounded mean? What is that? What is that shit? What is that shit? What is that? Sorry.
You should not have to have characters that look like you, have the same background as you, have the same experience as you, be almost a mirror image of you in order to relate, if all those other things are well done. And it's one of those things that, unfortunately, there are certain writers today that just don't know how to do that, unfortunately. And while they're, seemingly making money now, it doesn't really guarantee that I think they're going to be able to find that kind of success in the future, because their work does not and cannot really stand the test of time.
That's proof that their lives have been so shallow and protected that they have to self-insert in order to create a character because they have no grasp on what other characters or thoughts or experiences could be. They've just never been part of it, never seen it.
Yeah.
Well, quick before you go to the next thing, I want to highlight Jester's message. It says, "Fat Steven Seagal is very well rounded."
No.
I mean, like a Christmas ornament, well rounded, or.
No.
Anyone else? That joke? Anyone else want to get in about Jester has
hippo rounded?
It's your joke. We just all run with it. Don't get mad.
I'm not mad. Like that's what I can say. I haven't got mad ever.
I picture
puns do allow us to have a ball. Really.
Listen here, hey Punderella, calm down. Okay? And like the same thing is, like we don't have to look at addiction. Let's look at the way we come together every week. You guys didn't get bored or get tired, or you can say, "Fuck F this, I don't want to show up anymore. This is just boring talking about a sci-fi show." Same thing goes with the chat. They choose to give their time to us. They choose to engage, share their favorite parts, their attachments to this. It's in our own way. We're sharing our Babylon 5 addiction, and we're all here in a recovery group, but we're not here trying to forget Babylon 5. We're just hoping the next addiction's just as good.
You're right. You're right.
I am going to hit you, Jester. I am going to hire someone in your country to knock on your door and just slap you with a trout like Monty Python. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
You probably could get someone you already know in the general vicinity to do it for free.
Will, what are you doing?
Sounds kind of fishy to me.
I didn't say any names.
But nah, that's why I like talking about this. It's good. Jester, I have no problem. Like honestly, I'll give the story. The reason why Fat Steven Seagal, why Fat is in the name, is so you can call me fat and not feel bad about it. It's that simple. That's the joke. I used to beat up Brian Johnson, then Alex Kurtzman, then Kathleen Kennedy, then any other stupid person who went on Twitter and started causing nonsense. Yeah, because if you use a joke too much, it loses its humor. Doesn't mean I can't beat up Santa Claus. I'll beat up Santa Inc. later today. I'll just change it. You know, not that type of trout, you weirdo. There's Terry Rose. Stop being silly with the snake. Stop being so silly. But getting back to this, someone brought up a great point. One of their favorite points. Where was that? I think that was Das. I think said that. Yes. This is one of my favorites. The fight with Marcus and Neroon was pretty epic, if one-sided. But it also, the fight physically was one-sided, but the fight of loyalty was definitely on level playing field even more. Neroon might have had the physical advantage. Marcus's loyalty to the cause for the one outweighed him. It did.
I like the conclusion of the fight too, as well. It definitely proves that point. But Marcus is pretty scrappy, so I mean, he's got some moves. Just because he's like half the guy's size, it's okay.
They were trained. They were also trained by the same people.
Same guy, yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, that is a good scene. I mean, again,
it's
another
really cool.
example of how far, Marcus has come and how loyal he is. I mean, he is the epitome of what a ranger, I think, should be. So.
And I do believe, if I remember reading correctly, that pike that Marcus has actually was given to him by that trainer. It's a very, very old relic of incredible value.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the things were handed down.
I wonder if this episode they did end up having a bow staff martial artist show them how to do it, because obviously in other ones it was a little more iffy.
I think they would pretty much have to. It depends on trying to get these scenes right. In the 90s, I guess it was maybe a little bit harder to find, but I guess it could have still been arranged.
That just means I'm looking forward to some really good fighting when the reboot happens. So.
Oh, it depends on how much money the CW wants to put in and how much how much they're willing to let things flow. I think that's what it comes down to. And if Patricia honestly has faith that Straczynski will bring something back for the next gen, I will give the benefit of that doubt.
I hope she gets to be the bartender. I think that'd be like the best thing. I really would.
That would be.
So
Daryl the Derelict, a member and also a good friend, says no matter what your stance is or what you love, the community sticks together and helps one another and will always stand with each other. You guys are the shiznit. Thank you, sir. And while he says that quickly, just because I have to, because I've been doing it in my spare time, it's not finished, so don't freak out. That's
PowerPoint?
that. Oh. There you go. That's what I'm working on so far, but that's all you're getting. Other than that, yeah, if you haven't subbed to Vac, Daryl's a good guy. He's very welcoming on his channel. You'd love him. You'd probably like him a lot too, Keith. Daga, you would too if you haven't talked to him.
Oh, I know. He's a friend of yours. That makes him cool.
Oh, great. So I finally have an alibi who's blinded by trust. That's good. Thank you.
What?
Well, at least you have.
No, I'm messing with you, Keith. I mean, blindly go where no Fat Steven ever goes before. Weight Watchers or the vegetable section at Metro. That's a grocery store.
I know. I mean, look. You're good people. That's really what I want to say. You're good people. So.
And yeah, you guys are actually having a kind of a filling conversation, seeing people talk about painkillers and stuff. I mean, look at you guys are having it's awesome. Like, I appreciate you guys are willing to share that stuff. That's one thing I learned from my doctor. I'll actually go back to that quickly. Is that people who actually been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, they have a higher chance of becoming addicted to something, and they don't even know it. So that's why I've always never been on strong painkillers, because not only of that fear, but because I've seen it firsthand. Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah.
That's the same reason with me and alcohol with Native Americans. I've seen it firsthand. They have that stereotype for a reason, because it's pretty easy.
My very German late grandfather was pretty much an alcoholic. Like he when he had major heart surgery, he had to stay in the hospital an extra month because of detox. Like my grandmother was in complete denial about it.
That's the why my dad had to stay in the hospital so long too, because when because he was drinking a lot, he wasn't leaving the couch. They called it dehydration, but I knew it was more than just dehydration. Mm-hmm. Like,
he knew why it was dehydration.
Well, I knew why it was dehydration. I used to get in arguments with him, like you need to cut down on the drinking. You need to worry about this. You're on the couch all the time, and then when it reaches the point where you never thought it would happen because reality sits in. I was a mess that morning when I had to get the ambulance in there, and I was answering questions, and he was being carried out on a bed. I was a mess. Hey, K-Dog, I see you on Twitch. Hello. I see you there, Psycho Dwarf.
Hey, Melvin.
But he's back at home. He's a lot more livelier. He's taking care of himself. But we've had those moments, and like I said, alcohol. It's not even just a stereotype. Alcohol can just take over.
Yep. And
when you're the people watching and you've gone through all the options trying to help and you can't win that battle, it's pretty much you're sitting back without popcorn waiting for the motion picture to start. It's not easy. Nope. And I see you, Mountains of Elysium. Hello. Yep. Sorry to get all serious, guys. I'm not trying to depress anyone, but it's like this episode does this. This is one of those episodes where it can bring out conversations on different ideals. Reality.
It makes you question yourself sometimes too.
Alcohol or the show?
No.
Is it your Fortnite addiction you're talking about? I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'll stop. Go ahead, Monkey.
No, it's just like the excuses that you'll make in life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. I'll do it after this. I'll stop. But that's it. Wow. Yeah, this episode was brilliant, and I'm glad it causes a conversation like this.
Well, there is something about this episode. I mean, JMS, admitted that the episode didn't work. He was very critical of the Zard creature that Garibaldi fights.
Oh, you mean the Dollar Tree Predator?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that you could argue from an artistic perspective that making that campy next to an incredible actor ends up working because it doesn't outshine the actor.
Yeah. Well, I really do think that that's definitely one of the things that he's going to make some changes with when it comes to the reboot. A lot of the very distinctly alien characters will be alien. He'll figure out a way of making those work, because that was one of the things from the very beginning that was a selling point for him in creating the show, which is not only how they were telling the stories and the type of characters they were using, but also being able to provide characters that you've never really seen before. And unfortunately, they couldn't get a lot of their distinctly way alien characters to work. And then just a few years later, Farscape comes along and says, "Oh, you mean like this?" And did it really well.
Farscape taught them a lot of things of what to do to actually make it like Farscape, the way Farscape was, I think, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, Farscape just was really the next level. I mean, Farscape is one of those shows that I know there's a tendency to say, well, Babylon 5 should not have worked. Farscape should really have not worked, and it did. And the writing that they had on that show, going the places that they did with those episodes, was just phenomenal. But in my mind, you could not have gotten there without Babylon 5. Babylon 5 was really that spark. And then once that spark was lit, it was pretty much open season on being able to create something. And the people behind Farscape went there. You could definitely tell that they were big fans of not only Star Trek, but even Babylon 5. But in the way that they attacked what they wrote, and accepting the challenge of taking the audience to places where they've never been before, and allowing them to meet and experience and see creatures and characters they never would have seen before. And so Farscape really is kind of like Babylon 5 2.0 in the sense that they took everything to the next level as far as the physical looks of that show. And it still is one of the best looking visual effect shows out there.
Now quickly, I can't do it just as well, but Psychodorf 9! There you go. There's my Muppet. Psychodorf 9. I can't get that high right now. Psychodorf 9. Oh yeah.
So there's 9 other Psychodorfs?
Yeah, there probably was 8 of them. B5 and Farscape proved the maxim: a wonderful tale needs only a teller and an audience. Great story trumps effects. Yeah. But I also know people go, "Oh God, there's too much talking in this series. Why can't there just be more puppets?" I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, I mean, some people. Okay, you know what? The thing about science fiction is it can actually handle a lot more than what you think. Unfortunately, I just think that when you get people that aren't as well versed and as willing to become fans of the medium, Alex Kurtzman.
Captain Platform? Let's not talk about that douchebag. Sorry.
It just disturbs me that someone could disrespect science fiction as a genre so much to think that it is quote unquote so easy to do, and it isn't. I will tell you, if you read some of the best science fiction stories, they should be a little difficult to read in certain respects. They should be able to take you. Oh, go ahead.
No, okay. Well, I was going to say that it's not even just science fiction. Let's take Lord of the Rings for a prime example. You remember some of the editions that came out. Not only did they have a full rune translation of the alphabet and the songs and Elven and stuff to a certain degree, it was in the back so you could not only keep your chapter, go back, find out the translation and what it actually meant in the Middle Earth terms or whatever Golden Age or First Age term it was, and then go back to that chapter and it would actually make a little bit more sense after a reread. That was one of my favorite things about it. I had my father's edition and it had like the oil painting of just the Tower of Mordor sitting there, and the reds and the reds and the blacks and the oranges and the yellows, and I would go back and just go through the back of that book before I even touched everything because I was the runes and the new language and the symbols, it just captured me. It was like, what is this? And it's not many books do that anymore.
Well, and that's, again, for the time period that I grew up in, you know, all you needed was really the spark. And you could go in and have all kinds of adventures. I mean, the thing about Star Trek is that while Kurtzman Trek has the ability and financially able to do anything they can think of, the fact that they aren't really as creative as they should be and are bankrupt in their ability to be able to bring forth just quality stories, that you are really getting a very expensive yet limited in view, scope, and effect of what they're able to do. And really, it is just I know that there are people out there that totally enjoy it, but I would challenge anyone that enjoys that stuff. Just read classic science fiction and you'll realize that what you're watching with Kurtzman Trek isn't even good enough to be considered something that is worthy of even first graders.
No, first graders at least can stay on the lines. He doesn't even stay on the lines. And I'm relating that to, what was it? Sonar in Space. Sounds like a Pigs in Space.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you know, the thing about the Lord of the Rings, it was written really for kids, not for kids, but I mean for you know, it wasn't really written for adults, and that is deeper. That is more meaningful. You get more out of reading that than anything you could ever hope to get out of Kurtzman Trek.
Yeah. And honestly, I would like to say this again for the record. We're not pooping on you if you like it. That's not the case. We're talking about the delivery. We're talking about the delivery of how one single man has taken Trek and not only made it so verbal diarrhea, if you want to call it. They came and get the science right, called it a platform last year in a Comic-Con live panel, and then
you can do it, dude.
Everyone, in my opinion, respects diversity, what you are, who you are, how you think, your opinion, your free choice to think, your free thought to live. But when that is taken and disrespected and forced down your throat is where the respect and we reject becomes the phalanx of the consumer, the watcher, the viewer. Because at this point, you are demanding something that is earned by respecting the people you are trying to make this type of content for. Wheel of Time is another prime example. And I will not get into that right now because I still haven't found a big enough poster to defecate on.
No.
I will respect anyone. Thank you. But I respect anyone who likes it and finds it great. I know there are new fans that this is their first type of whatever. But at the same time, it's not supposed to be forced on you. A lot of people know, they see the jokes, they've seen nerd parodies and all that stuff where it's like, which captain is the better one? And you would have a debate. But you weren't enemies because the one thing, it didn't matter what captain was better. You still liked the fucking show. That's all that mattered. But now it's at the point where we can't even like the same show because you don't like the same things or dislike the same things. Nobody can dictate how you think. They can only dictate themselves to not listen. That's it. I'm not trying to preach. I'm just, I wish we could all just have our own Babylon 5s and cake too. That's it. That's pretty much it. And someone just popped in the back, right? Yeah. There we go. Hey, memes.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Hey guys, what's going? That was a very American speech of you, Stephen. I totally respect the part that I at least caught, and then I realized you were Canadian, but it still seemed fitting, so I did it anyway.
Let's make out, memes. Let's make out.
But being American is a notion, not a nation.
I see what you did there. Kate. I'm totally stealing that.
That's a T-shirt.
That's from Assassin's Creed. I'm sorry, I'm a big nerd.
It's okay.
It is. I'm sure.
I'll buy one.
And like, I woke up to his shit with the whole fucking Spider-Man shit. Miles Morales is not Spider-Man. I'll stand by that. Because if Miles Morales was Spider-Man, why is he just getting the same fucking stories as Peter Parker? You hand me down a costume to be a mantle of the next hero. You don't hand me down his legacy of stories and still call him Spider-Man. No, he is the next gen. He's supposed to come up with his own trials and tribulations. Get over it.
I
the only people arguing with me is fucking pronouns lately. Sorry about that shit.
I hear you. Know if you're gonna do something new, I mean, I would say maybe take a page out of the Maestro's book and like don't tell the exact same story. I mean, you can give homage. If you're gonna do the exact same thing, tell people you're gonna do the exact same thing. But it's like, well, that's been done before. It's like if we're in a different universe, another section of the multiverse, if you would. It's like, give us something good. Whatever you do, just do it awesomely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as a kid, I liked Static Shock because he was a similar
personality. That was a good show.
To Peter. Yeah, that was great, but it was a lot like Spider-Man, but completely different. They were both great characters.
Crossover.
Yeah.
One of the greatest episodes back in the 90s was the Spider-Man, or maybe I think it was the Spider-Man series where he actually met the X-Men. You're like, oh, they really did a crossover. He's in the danger room and everything like that, and the interaction with Wolverine.
And Blade and Captain America, and like it was all fucking there.
Good.
And
that's how
I'm going to lay down. Sorry, go ahead, Keith. I'm going to lay down.
I was just going to say Spider-Man was effective in really kicking off a whole host of characters. Without what Steve Ditko and Stan Lee created, you would not have had Miles Morales. You would not have had
any of them.
You would not have had even Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because these are all characters that are derived from that same, from what Ditko and Lee put together. So
now. Yeah, and I want to quickly show something. And like I speak because I can lay down a nerd card and just show. Oh, that's not the nerd card. That's me making fun of the Star Tours trailer. My bad. Hold on. I switched their faces. Hold on. Whoops.
Oh,
my
you
bad.
can't even tell.
I thought you had that.
Yeah. I switched the faces. You can't.
I need to send you something, Steven. That reminds me.
But yeah. There you go. You can look at that one. Oh God, that's horrifying, isn't it? All I saw is someone posted meme this. I'm like on it, and I just swapped the faces. Hold on. And Black Dragon, thank you for your service. That doesn't make you a racist. That's bullshit. If anyone ever tells you that, you know what they're talking out of? Their fucking ass.
Scalies are people too.
And I'll just do this again. And we'll open this up, and I will make it bigger for a quick second. And there's my nerd card. This is just one roll.
That's enough to sleep on.
No, I sleep on dining room tables.
It literally has a store in.
Well, don't use it as a coaster.
Whoa!
See no robots.
G.I. Joe is signed by that G.I. Joe. That G.I. Joe is signed by the original voice actor of Baroness. Yes. The Cops is signed by the voice actor of Dr. Bad Vibes. Yes. He also was the voice of Vision in the Avengers. One of those cartoons. I also have signed comics. I've been collecting these for years. A lot of these are second ones that I don't read. I just put on the wall. I have not bought a comic in over almost 2 years now, unless it's an older one. I do not buy graphic novels anymore. I do not buy current issue stuff because not even the cover can sell me.
You got a subscription for DC Fortnite for the Batman.
That was good, but that was also because I wanted the cosmetics. That's different, and that's an online comic. It's not physical media. That's what I'm saying.
He's setting a bar. He's setting the bar there. And all I know is, Steven, some folks, they go to Europe to see some of the giant stained glass windows in cathedrals. You have your wall of nerddom. It's a very beautiful thing.
Yes.
And
the little corner of Canada is like Versailles to nerds.
Yeah. And I think, and I know everyone has their own collection, their own thing that they have put their soul in, and that's I don't think anyone can dictate your love of whether it's anything, because guess what? You're the one who made that collection. You're the one who went out and go hunting it down. They weren't there. They weren't yelling at you or telling you what you should get. You wanted it because it looked cool. Hell yeah.
We also didn't have social media.
Oh, we did. It was called AOL Online. You got mail. Hope you don't have stock.
I turned off AIM because my buddy kept spam texting me. He was one of those people that typed so fast, and I'm just like, screw it.
We got prime examples here. So let's take a look at Keith and Adega, both collectors and lovers of Babylon 5. Adega gave me some awesome books and an import charge I'm still never going to forgive him for. But they both collect, but they also collect this stuff, and they show it off, and they're proud of it. Like it's like that little stuff.
Well, Adega's just that much cooler than I am. Okay,
well,
I want that for the record.
Well, okay. Das Wolfen, you need to reach out.
Get new stuff too.
Oh shoot, Das!
Oh, look at you!
Hey, Das Wolfen.
This is a comic.
Awesome. I gotta tell Das Wolfen something quickly. I have over 300 Funko Pops going back to 2012. If you're looking for something, I'm trying to make space. I need space. Okay, and this is like going back to when Marvel Collector Corps first released. Like I have shit that will make your skin white. Okay,
you literally have a store, and you should just kind of find a way to make that.
Like, I get mocked for Funko every time Claudia brings up Funko. Someone's sending me a message. You need to get in there. He's mocking your honor. I'm like, it's plastic. I just love the character.
I mean, I didn't know until I went to a local nerd store. I mean, they generally sell plastic crack, and then a few other things, but they had just a reasonable amount of Funko compared to other places in town.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I know why they have this, so I'm not knocking you, but it's funny that there's a Hot Topic guy.
Is it just me?
There's a Hot Topic guy pop. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the reason it's called that and not what it should be is because it's the owner of Blackcraft Cult whose first job was working on Topic.
Oh, shit.
I have no idea. I'm just kind of putting two and two things together because I know that was a big deal for them to have their stuff in that store for a minute. And then that happened. It's like, it just seemed a little too perfect.
We have a penguin. Hello, Low Spec. Nice to see you here.
Beware the penguins. Wait, Funko Pops, they don't look tasty. That kind of confuses me.
They have Funko Pop cereal.
There is?
Yeah, there is. Actually, there is. You can get Funko Pop cereal. Yes, there is. And it comes with a little mini pop figure. Yep.
Oh, okay.
A little crunchy than you would more expect.
Is it like Captain Crunch crunchy?
More like Fruit Loops, right?
It hurts.
Okay.
They have all different kinds, like different flavors. They have like Rice Krispie ones.
Oh, okay. So they're like legit collabs in their vein of genius.
Did anyone
I'm thinking Legos in a bowl. I guess I'm wrong.
Now I got a question. Do you think the reason why they use this alien and the hands look like Freddy Krueger claws is because they were trying to respect Robert just a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a little callback homage-ness and why they made it campy.
Oh, it's this episode. Yeah, Garibaldi.
Welcome to the show, memes.
I just got here.
20 minutes ago.
I'm wondering. I'm like, what the heck are we looking at? It looks kind of familiar. Okay, now
Freddy Krueger was in this episode. That's what Kate brought up as well. That was the crazy dude that Garibaldi was with.
No, it was the Babylon 5 equivalent of a cyber demon.
That thing.
Garibaldi had like 5 shots, but no gun. It's a beautiful thing.
Psychodorf drops in with mom and grand died. I lost 2 long boxes, 60 pounds of vinyl. Some were custom reprints, complete Edgar Rice burrows and pout. Damn, man, I'm sorry.
Sorry about your family.
We'll work something out, bro. If you need something, we'll work something out. And honestly, yeah.
You know, as one nerd to another, I feel that pain. I do.
My mom threw out Superman #1 for my dad's collection.
What?
That's $1.1 million.
That's like
now it is.
Superman #1, not Action Comics.
Wait, no, was it #1 or was it Action Hero? Action Comics.
I don't. I just remember I was told this story. Then again, I was also told I was also part Native American. That was my grandfather trolling us, apparently. I don't know. I heard the story. I remember hearing a story. It wouldn't necessarily surprise me. My dad got boned by a lot of people over the time. Just call around. This was also far before it was worth like $1 million. I think.
Wow.
Crazy.
Everyone's like having a silent period of mourning, going, "Wow, memes could have been $1 million right now."
Yes.
Because what? There's only 5, or there's up to 5 or 7 actual Action Comics that have been verified in the world, right? There's not even
#1,
left.
you mean? Yeah.
Action #1, yeah. Action Comics #1, yeah.
Well, because they have a lot of reprints.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking originals, but I know what you mean by the reprints, yeah.
Yeah, they make like reprints that look exactly like the original with no different, like no way to tell them separate, except if you can tell we're printing.
The ink and the paper will give it away, but you have to be know of that and how that works.
Yeah, but if you're
the casual person like myself, be like, "Oh, cool."
Now, rather than dwelling in the past, how about we move on to the future of a show that came out about a quarter century ago that's absolutely spectacular.
Okay, Mr. Millionaire. Okay.
Memes millionaire.
Who wants to be a memeonaire? There we go.
Gotta play the long game.
Get all the mumberries you could ever want.
Action Comics is Superman numbers a few hundred, I think. Nice to clear that up, yeah. I lost entire ElfQuest comic collection of all original issues in a move, so I feel the pain, yeah.
Ooh.
I lost the original Kenner X-Wing where you had to push R2's head down, and the Millennium Falcon, and original sets of Lego. Because my mom thought, hey, he doesn't need anymore. Let's give it to the neighborhood kid. I am not talking to you ever again. I love Lego.
Ouch. Are we comparing scars here? I mean, are we really going to do this?
It's not scars.
I don't know. I mean, I can't say that I am upset that I got rid of my 90s Barbie dream house with battery-powered elevator. But because I gave it to like a second, third cousin who lost their mom, and it was with good intentions and all that. So, short story long. But damn, they suck now. It's just horrible. Nothing compares to that Barbie house.
I allowed someone to borrow a book from me that I've never gotten back.
Can't stand you.
Never lend out books.
Yeah, I learned that lesson. This was a few years ago. I had to learn that lesson. So
tools would be the other thing.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, come on, guys, don't get depressed.
Kate, I would say that was a very worthy sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I regret doing it. It's more like I'm disappointed that they aren't at that quality anymore.
Don't be a taker backer, Tommy Pickles father. Or maybe it's I forget.
I love the Rugrats so much.
Oh wow!
Have a lot of good life lessons.
Yeah, they have all the lessons. Tommy is a better Time Lord than Jody.
Ouch!
Prove me wrong.
Ouch. Only Tommy to compare it. He did a pretty dang good job.
Yep.
Ouch.
I understand there's been a lot of shade getting thrown at this, and even folks I consider pretty dang neutral are throwing shade. So I take it there's something there.
But at least I know these things.
I would like to quickly quote Heel versus Babyface: "Flux it down the toilet." That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a good one.
It's bad. Honestly, no. I gotta give credit though. Flux is great, is very well written, but if it wasn't the Jody cast, it would have been a great Tennant or even Kurt Smith or Capaldi. It would have been like there is something there with the way everything is, but it's like watching two lesbians not want to be the submissive, and they're just bitching back and forth about the universe is getting destroyed. That's the way I get this. It's the way I feel when I'm watching it. It's like it's a lot of nag bitching, and I'm like, just save the universe. Fuck off.
Oh, there's a word for that, but I probably can't say it aloud.
Probably not.
I don't think that's how lesbians work. Then again, I limited experience. But speaking of flux, dude, you can buy a flux capacitor from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Its part number is 121G.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be derogatory, but I'm saying as a generalization. It's like they tried to write two non-lovers as lovers, and all they're doing is nagging and trying to push each other's buttons while the universe is falling apart. And that's what it looks. It doesn't even look like sisters nagging or siblings. It looks like two lovers that are stuck in one area and they can't get over the fact that they don't like each other. Yet they do. It's so mind-boggling.
So
is that the plot from Eternals?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
Lord Thoth, hello. And I see Louise X Sparrow. Louise X Sparrow says, my mom had Superman 1 to 100 and my nan gave them away. She's still complaining about it. Your mom's a nerd.
As well she should. 1 through 100? Oh my God. Oh God, that hurts.
Yeah. And I'm not disrespecting anyone here. I'm saying it's a generalization. The writing is that bad with these actors. If it wasn't these actors, the writing would have been kind of different, but it would have flowed in a story like, God, I miss episodes like Blink.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't blink. The wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Like that crap was good, and it was still Tommy Pickles.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
It is. Oh, the X-Men up to the 90s, and X-Men stole them and sold them. If you have a chance, there is they did a re-release called X-Men 92, and it felt like I was getting comic books from the Fox Kids cartoon. Even the covers had that feel, and I think I had a couple of them on my wall. Pick them up and give them a shot. X-Men 92, that run.
We ought to catch a drink sometime, man. That's
97.
What?
The reboot on Disney Plus is X-Men 97, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm talking about comic books, if you've never heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
They actually look like...
I know, I have too many.
You turn the page, you wash your hands. You turn the page, you wash your hands. See, Zach, I got a turtle in there.
You wear gloves!
No, they make it harder to touch things.
Zach wants to know memes. Can you explain lesbians without referencing turtles?
I gave him a turtle, but probably not.
Okay.
Lesbian turtle?
What? No. What?
Well, DeviantArt we go.
Turtle beans?
It's
talk about sci-fi.
All right. Let's get back to Batman. This is getting out of here now. This is just getting out of here. I was making a Doctor Who thing, and it went to turtles and stuff you don't want to see on your internet history.
Next time you have a revelation, could you possibly find a way that is...
All right. Did we like this episode? Yes or no? Out of a rating of 1 to 5 Gary Buseys, I give this a 4.
I give it an 8.2.
Out of 5.
Also 5 out of 5.
Oh,
if we're going out of 5,
then
I give it a 3.
Okay. Oh dear Lord. No, I'm not referencing that. No, Psycho. No. I know, and now I don't want that image in my head. 4.5.
But how else do spaceships come together?
I'd say 5.
I mean, you could ram into each other, but
abstain. I missed it. No problem.
I'd give it a 4 or 5. It would have been a 5 if the suit was a little bit better for this alien. But there was little things like when Garibaldi was on the elevator doing the count. He was biting his nails. Like, I'm really bored sitting here doing this job. This is a little thing. He wasn't standing there counting. It was just, it made it look more real. So I appreciate things like that.
And Kraken, that's for memes, I'm guessing.
I can neither confirm nor deny this.
But he's blushing.
I raised my score up to an 8.4.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah. Who hasn't rated yet?
I gave it a 4.
Okay. Dega, I forget your number.
It was a little high 4.
High 4. And Kate, you gave it a 5, right?
Yep, I like this one.
Okay, then we've definitely got a good rating. It wasn't a bad episode. I had fun with it. Mm-hmm. And then we're on.
It's got creepy puppets and improvised firearms.
Ready for it? It is better firearm training than Alec Baldwin.
No. That name is that algorithm thing. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm being nice about it. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna be nice. I know. I'm kidding. Calm down. Go V-Bucks.
Tiger blood. There we go.
Thank you, Charlie Sheen. Thank you. It's all good. What am I gonna do? Lose my shit?
Next episode. No, you're supposed to start messaging him repeatedly in DMs.
How dare you use that name?
Oh my God! How dare you express your opinion on the internet?
He could be Voldemort.
Clackety clack. Don't talk back. There we go. Thank you, Psychodorf 9.
I like these two guys together. This is awesome.
All right, so yeah. And the next episode is literally called "And the Rock Cried Out." No hiding.
Oh, I like this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I will also call it Z-10 days. Who wants to talk first about this episode? That's great. Thanks, guys. This has been a great show.
Wait, again, I haven't brought it up yet. Monkey, you like it?
Yeah. Pastors and Jews and I don't know what it is they call the Muslim leaders.
Imam.
Imam, thank you. All working together as spies.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And then there's one line when they're sitting at the table. Go ahead.
When Lord Refa gets his.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's this episode. Okay. All right. I apologize. Okay, continue.
I'm just going to take every time he says apologize.
They're sitting at the table and the minister starts talking about standing up instead of covering your eyes. I'm thinking how the world needs more influence, just like he's saying nowadays.
It always has. Always.
And we also open up, and I didn't put it up there, is Ivanova is actually monologuing how the crew is holding up. Shadows are still doing attacks. They can't figure out the pattern. Sheridan hasn't left the war room in God knows how long. She's mildly irritated with Jakar, constantly asking for little things because he's giving literally a Narn bodyguard to every telepath that's been provided. And you can feel the tension rising that we're getting to a point where first strike is going to happen. You can just feel it even without it being said. Franklin, like before, is still on walkabout. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just Londo's planning and scheming.
It's interesting they don't touch on Hanukkah in this season, I don't think, because Ivanova's Jewish, and because it's not the same time every year. It's cyclical. It's like a lunar or solar, I forget which. So I wonder if that's kind of what the time of year it is, because they don't talk about it this time. But it's interesting that they do have this cabal of faith leaders and talking about ribbing each other and talking about how to ensure people have their autonomy.
Mm-hmm. They're calling the staff of Babylon 5 pretty much pirates and seditionists and all this stuff as well. The President Clark is still trying to pass along the narrative that the resistance is dead and everything's back to normal and under full control. We hear otherwise through these ministers, how each one handles a different sector of advice. So if one gets caught, not everything is found out. And you can see that it's not happy on Earth. It's very, it's actually relatable to today's day, the way it is. It feels very trapped, very restricted, very limited. And it's so hard to even get out a sentence or a message without it being intercepted and misconstrued like an apology from a mob. I hope I said that right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think good.
I like that they followed this up after the Robert Englund character, just because that's very sciencey in a spiritual way, and this is very spiritual, and then they bring in a lot of real life things later on, like when I don't know which one's Catholic and which one
they went all metaphysical.
Yeah, it's all both are very metaphysical. Exactly. Is their resident preacher a Catholic? Because I have no idea. Because the guest one's is a Baptist, right? So they're clashing, but they get along and they respect each other, and that's the thing that they're kind of talking about as well with all this metaphysicalness.
They're past all getting hung up on themselves, so they're able to engage in banter. Well, some may view it as mean. It's like, all right, it's coming from a loving place. But then again, the history of much really, or at least with my experience within some of the greater spheres of Hebrewness and everything, that's kind of been the whole point. It's like the whole, like, what is it? Jerusalem literally translates to wrestle with God. Does not straight up wrestle with God because somebody lost an eye. It's dangerous, although sometimes necessary.
They also give a great representation with the way they're interacting, like they're taking pot shots here and there. But we can also relate this back to what we were talking about with the previous episode, and we were talking about the forced stuff that we've been dealing with. These guys are all different religious, different beliefs, different everything, but they're not insulting the faith in what they believe in. They're pointing shots at the person and like they're singing and little things like that, but they're still respecting them as men of faith, people as faith.
And they do this throughout the whole series a couple times. Like there's one where end of an episode that's very distinct about it, because because all these alien species are very homogeneous, and whereas Earth is very eclectic. So here's our lineup, and compared to other places that don't quite have that eclecticness.
That's where it goes.
Some may say diversity.
What about you, Adaga? You like this episode you're talking about before. What did you want to add to the table?
I think the biggest thing, the spiritual aspect. Who wrote this one, Keith? Was this Straczynski?
I want to say yes, but I really excuse me.
It was directed by David J. Eagle. It was written by J. Michael Straczynski himself. Yes.
Yep. That's okay. That's what I thought. The respect he gives to religion, especially when Sheridan's sitting down there with all his troubles, and the pastor comes in and brilliantly opens up his eyes without telling him that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
You are in a slump, sir. You are in it of your own making, and if you just allow someone to help, you would be a far better leader. And he did it, like I said, without telling him directly what was going on. Not to insult Sheridan's intelligence, but also to make sure he left, making him a better man. And it was awesome. I loved that scene.
Made sure he didn't get cornered within his own mind.
It's a very accurate analogy he uses too.
I didn't just rewatch this, but now you're making me remember why I love this episode.
Mountains of Elysium also drops a great point here. This episode just proves that religion is not the problem. People are, and always have been. Yes, I can agree with that.
Universal truth number one: people ruin
the problem
everything.
With Superhuman is the human bit. Sometimes, yeah.
Well, it's like Frank Zappa. Music's the only religion with results. So.
What about you? And what about you, Keith?
Well, again, good episode. Really good episode.
Without dying, okay.
I can't really add too much more than what has already been stated. When this episode first came out, I was really just impressed with how Straczynski was able to write this, his respect for religion, and really how that even plays out even into one of the episodes going into the 5th season. So it becomes kind of a, this has always been something that he's had since the beginning of the series. And so to know that this is in many ways different from a lot of other shows that literally try to take religion out, you have someone who is not afraid of having religion in the show and representing that within the lives of many of these characters, which I found different and refreshing. Again, this is just one of the multitudes of reasons why I love this show. So
there's also another part in this episode which I thought was really an eye-opener about, I mean, we knew this about Londo to begin with, but he was playing 3D chess where the other guy, I know his name, it's just slipping my mind. Lord Refa. Lord Refa. He was only playing checkers. He would see a move and then make a move, see a move and make a move. And Londo's going, oh, yeah, not a problem here. Take that piece. Just realize this is a thermonuclear device that I just handed you. And so he handed him Veer,
Yeah. He played more than 3D chess. He was on the board before the board was even set. Like he was playing. He had Jakar in mind. He had Veer, Refa, the Emperor. He even the Emperor's emissary. He had everything ready to go, and it was like he knew what day, what time, and when to initialize. It's like he had a notebook for treachery. It was fantastic.
He plays the long game well when he has to.
But at the same time, he with these actions, he put the trust of Veer in him into very high question. And you could see that in Veer. He was like, can I even trust him anymore? He got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
And yes, I agree, Mountains.
What did Mountains say? My fellow Irishman, I will agree with this. In order to find his equal, an Irishman is forced to converse with the Almighty. That's a good one. Music is also magical. Yes. Someone else, I believe it was Louise Expro, says she actually bought this CD for this episode. How was it? There's a lot. I love the conversations going on in the chat. We've just done everything. All right. Sadly,
have to promote it today.
Do you need to go now, Dega?
Yeah, I probably should.
All right. Dega's quick rating of this is 5 Garys out of Busey's.
Yes.
So, Dega, I appreciate your time and your friendship. I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you again.
Yeah, you guys too, but I kind of have to step away, so enjoy the rest of the show. Don't miss me too much.
Bye, Dega.
No tears.
See you later, Dega.
Bye.
Dega.
Take it easy. Yeah. Now, Keith, come on, man. Is it because you can't talk or because you don't know what else to cover? Because we can move off the religion. There's other stuff in this episode. Like, are you dying?
I've just been having a problem with my voice. That's all.
I'm sorry, man. I'm very sorry.
It's all right.
I don't know what to do.
Need honey and lemon.
You pitch it to somebody else that is in the middle of a bit of a coughing fit because their voice is bothering them.
All right, then you memes. You're always late. Since you, what are your thoughts on this episode from the Blue Eyes White Dragon point of view?
Well, again, as somebody has watched this in the past now, because I actually skipped ahead and totally didn't rewatch, like I totally should have before. I do like how the Maestro was able to paint in. Basically, it's like, okay, religion, because even at the time, this was in the 90s, there was a bit of conflict. A lot of folks were still very staunchly in the religious camp. There were a lot of folks that were coming up there like, we don't really want to be getting preached to. So be able to present something that many may have viewed as controversial, especially since it's not like the Centauri religion. It's not like the Minbari. This is human. This is history. He still did it. He did it in a very tactful way. And the sheer fact that Lord Refa gets his in the end.
Reefer.
Oh. Oh, it's like seeing Joffrey. We shouldn't harm children, but everybody likes seeing somebody get theirs once in a while.
Yeah.
It's fiction. I loved it. I loved it.
Oh yeah, I love Refa's face. Well, I'll show later on.
And just the music, is everything is going there. He's like, I have you. And then all of a sudden it's like, he pulls out, yes, Lord Refa, yes. You see, this is the situation here. You are completely effed right now. Yes, these girls are loyal to me. And say hello to all your non-friends you've terrorized. Have a nice day.
It was pretty much money is more powerful than you, Refa. And it was just great to see. And he even had to make it so Veer would not be found out by that telepath, because he knew there would be a telepath. And it was just like,
oh yeah,
shit.
He's like, Londo, why didn't you tell me? He's like, I couldn't. Of course Refa's going to have a telepath with him. It's like, what were you thinking? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know. So when you are scanned, and then you'll realize, like, whoa, Londo's, he's been playing this for a while. And he likes to pride himself on, like, knowing the move, because it's also a lot of the Centauri way, and he happens to be extraordinarily good at it. That's why the whole, it's like, here's a position that nobody wants. Congratulations, Ambassador. He felt like he got really boned.
I think when he found out about that, or whenever that was found out, that's when he was starting to realize he needs to start thinking how to get, because they're still part of a noble house, and these are two noble houses going at each other. And you even see the dude that's representing the emperor at this point, pretty much like, you guys need to stop this shit. We're supposed to be working together to fight the other races we're already xenophobic about all of a sudden. And Refa's just, I used to trust him. He's still not over the whole poisoning thing that happened a couple episodes ago. He's still trying to get that vendetta. You still see Veer when he's interacting with Jakar, and he's like, he doesn't even want to make eye contact. He hasn't even reached that point of, like, he doesn't deserve to look in Jakar in the face. Because I can't remember, but does Jakar know that Veer lied and that the actual Narns were saved and placed in other places? Or is it still left a mystery to keep Jakar unknowing? I can't remember that part.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't know.
Because it was outed early on, and Londo knew, right? Because it was in front of the command crew because of the fake person doing all the passports that Veer made up.
Yeah, I don't think Jakar is aware of that in that episode.
But is he aware of it now? That's the question.
I don't
know.
If not, that's kind of
Jakar was in jail for a while, and people have a habit of not telling Jakar things.
That's true. That's very true. He seems to be the last to know.
Well, this is the thing. He's like, you should tell me these things. Please include me in the group. And he keeps on getting excluded. However, if you had included him in the group, there was actually like a lot of really useful information you probably could have gleaned earlier. Just saying.
Yeah, probably.
Well, he was invited to the lunch party.
The lunch party?
Yeah.
Remember Delenn? Delenn had that party, and she invited everybody.
That wasn't a party. Wasn't that the rebirth ceremony, giving up something to be rebirthed? That wasn't really a party. It was more of a ritual, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't he still in jail for that? Because that was when they got their new suits.
And I don't think he was invited. I think he was still in jail. I believe it was Londo when he turned it down.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. You didn't even get invited to the lunch party.
You're in jail.
See, Jakar is always excluded there.
He's in jail.
No. Well,
he was in jail.
Are we sure?
If I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. But I think he was in jail still, because the only one really putting up with him was Garibaldi.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the singing. Remember, he wouldn't stop singing, and people were complaining and saying, well, he gotta stop singing.
I still love Jakar. It's like, you shall find the answers within the book of Jaquan. I don't understand Narn. You will learn.
Yeah. And the enthusiasm which he does that and briskly runs away.
I mean, Jakar is a true believer. You got to give the dude that. It's like he believes in it. He keeps on going back to the Book of Jaquan. It is the Narn religion, and he is a man that stands by it. And yeah, he pays the price, but it's a man of faith. I respect.
Yeah. You got to respect it. He's come full circle, not only in mind and body, but in soul as well. Yeah. I believed in private Veer would have told him what Londo wanted him to hear and told him Londo told him. Jakar will understand the truth and not blame Veer. I think it's just because of how Veer has been always seen as one person that they don't want to look at him the same way they look at Londo. Londo hasn't reached the precipice of his own Centaurinanity. How do you say that? Centaurinanity? Whatever. Humanity for Centauri, whatever you want to call it. But it was, yeah, like that. You can see that. Like it's like he didn't even feel like he earned the respect to look Jakar in the eyes. And that scene kind of got to me. So I'm like, damn, Veer, you're a lot more powerful than you say and think you are, but you gotta look a man in the eyes, even when they believe you fucked up. You know?
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's also kind of sent there to try to, like, get Jakar to lose his life.
That was his own, yeah. But
I mean, that's why he's there. Because as far as he knows, he's basically sending Jakar to his death, and he'd rather not be the, I don't know, the arbiter leading him to death.
Maybe. Keith, what say you? Are you able to talk, or are you still like coughing up? Is Keith even here? He's dying. All right, sorry. I'm so sorry. Centaurinism. That's a good one. Centaurinism. Thank you.
I just call that clout chasing.
Centaurism and Narnism.
well, the Centauri are basically just eternal clout chasers, I thought. It's basically, oh, I shall do this for you. I shall do this. Oh, by the way, you're poisoned. You do it to me. Don't say nothing. Well, that's the thing. It's all positioning and everything like that. And then it's like the Narn, you basically, you're supposed to be, and that's the thing. Within every group and everything, you're always going to see folks. It's like, there'll be folks that are like, oh, they're very strictly religious, and they totally are. Other folks may pay lip service, and then there are others that maybe they're just BSing there. Maybe whatever role they're playing within whatever particular house, sect, clan, or whatever you want to say, it's like maybe that's not truly who they are. Maybe they would fit better within another group, another entourage, or something like that. And that I do like the way this series gets written, because that's all these different things that are very often very controversial. They're touched upon in such a way where it's like certain pieces are just like, did that actually happen? It's like they actually went to some very difficult places. And like some of the scenes, and right around this time or so, all I know is it's like, I'm listening to this and I'm like, you could basically take exactly what was said right there and completely apply it to everything that's happening right now.
Yep.
And Keith has to step out. He's not feeling very well with the throat. Thank you for being here, Keith. Go take care of that. Have a good night. I'll see you in the future, bro.
Good night.
See you, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, after that, it's just this is pretty much a lot of plotting and oh shit, I'm dead moments, and it's oh my god, I can't say enough about this. Like this was pretty much my favorite over the previous one, just because of how everything was turned out. And I honestly didn't even see Londo as the bad guy in this episode at all. I see him more as a person of not passion, but due diligence and strive for power.
I think he's kind of planning for more of an end game now, from a Londo perspective, in my opinion. Like, because before, it's like you were saying, it's like, yes, Lord Refa would go in, he'd do this, he's like, all right, oh, I take this, and Londo was like, you do this, you're poisoned now, my friend. And it's just like, all right, Londo sees this, and he's like, all right, he's planning ahead, he's taking all these things. Now it's like, all right, rather than just these sweeping moves, it's like, what should I actually do? Perhaps I should go home. We'll delve into that into future episodes and what's going on there.
Yeah, we can also go on the lighter side too. We can look at the interaction between Sheridan and Delenn. Delenn's like, I made a promise. You don't want to break a promise I made now, do you? It's been 2 hours. And he's like, I can't have nightmares ever since Kosh died. And like, she's like, then you got to get away from it. And then we're seeing later on, we're seeing the interaction with one of the ministers and Sheridan, and the minister's trying to give him the hint, going, bro, she loves you, man. You need to realize what's in front of y'all. And you need to realize that if you're going to drown yourself in work, you're going to miss the things that are passing by that can help be the strength to get you through that work. And that was just, he wasn't trying to explain faith. He was trying to explain companionship.
Yeah, it does it very well.
I was going to use.
He does it very well with a very personal analogy that is accurate, because women do that. Is, can I help you fix your problems? And in various ways. It's just how we function, and that's the differeces. That's the yin and yang kind of thing.
Thou shalt not keep a Membaris waiting.
It's like a yin and yang twins.
We think we're then reaching that point where we're getting Veer. He gets kidnapped by Refa's dudes, and he's introduced to the telepath. And he's pretty much told, "You're going to tell me Londo's plan, or you're going to die." And Veer's just at this point going, I don't know anything. And pretty much he doesn't. He's pretty much given what he was told to say. The telepath picks that up. And then you see all of a sudden we're booking a shuttle back to Narn. I think it was Narn. I always get the planets mixed up. If I do, please correct me.
They go to Narn. It is very dusty after all the
particles and the mass drivers.
Yeah.
I love how Jakar just confronts Garibaldi about shipping a thing, and it's like, well, about this thing and this way. It's so adorable.
You can't be serious, Jakar. I need to go for my people.
To be fair with Jakar don't give an F anymore. At this point, he's literally hit the point where it's like, all right, I am religious, and he even says like, we must die for the cause. And it's like, all right, that at times might not go well, but I mean, the man is on a mission.
He's like at the point where all of this is extra, so any good that comes of it, awesome. So I just love Garibaldi's face when he sees us. Like, seriously, dude, how am I not surprised? But seriously,
being honest.
Yeah.
And
exactly. Yeah. Go on. Ooh.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's just we're seeing things fall out. And honestly, for a first-time viewer, Kate, were you expecting the way the episode went? Did you automatically pick it apart or no?
Well, I really like this one, and I get kind of like the parts I like stick with me a little better. So the fighting scene is a little more. I mean, it's not super fighty. It's more funny, and I guess like when Jakar's returned to his homeland, and it is essentially an abandoned war zone. And that part's like with the cloth over his face, and he's just like, I don't even know what to do, but we gotta get this done. So that's interesting, but I didn't expect it to be such a Benny Hill style fight.
Mm-hmm. And eventually they're realizing that the shadows are literally trying to fluctuate all of those refugees, right? And they start seeing it like, why are they leaving this area alone? And it's getting to the point where it's a tactic that they are trying to get everything grouped up in one place and kill everything with one stone. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like an OS moment at this point. Oh shit, they're trying to do a big enough hit where they can get everyone wiped out, and they want all the refugees gone. And it's kind of like, that's what I would do. And Delenn just freaks and being like, well, sometimes we gotta think like a shadow does. And she starts losing her mind, thinking, oh God, something's gonna happen. And he's like, no, this is tactics. Sometimes you have to take yourself out and think what the enemy is thinking. She's coming along the line that if you start going and thinking their belief, you have automatically been touched by them. And I think that's where her fear came.
Yeah, she doesn't see the big picture the same way. She wants people to be protective. Well, he wants to. She's like defense, and he's more like offense, I guess.
Yeah, it's that yin and yang, like Monkey was saying right there. You know, that's exactly what it is. It's that balance there. She's coming from a religious caste. It's like, we should take care of the folks. And he's coming from a warrior caste. And he's like, all right, we must achieve victory. It's like, all right, if I was trying to defeat my enemy, it's like, you throw all morality out the window, what would you do? Just do all these things that seem completely arbitrary. So like, you're dividing forces, but then you have the weakest, those that are injured, that can't really defend themselves, being conjugated, almost herded like cats into essentially a death trap. Because if all of a sudden you have all these refugees from all the different worlds, if they get obliterated, that's demoralizing. And as soon as you get that demoralization, then you can capitalize on it. From a strategic perspective, Sheridan is absolutely correct. It's just absolutely bloodthirsty, and yeah. That's why I should avoid war.
Mountain Elysiums quickly jumps in saying, this scene reminds me of the one from Stand By Me where Milo and the junkyard dog, but here it's the Narns and sick balls. Yeah, they were like, make sure there's enough of them found, make sure this crystal's found on his head, and it proves that money is the power still around there.
Yeah. And then it bodes the question, Stephen. Who let the Narns out? Who let the... I apologize for my racism.
That's not racism. What the hell?
No, it was. No, I was comparing Narns to dogs. I was using it. I should have. Who let the memes in?
Yeah.
Oh, God. What's happening? Keith, come back.
It's all right. You've been bad. You're stuck with me.
Nah, you're good. And we're eventually getting to the point now where it's like he made a deal. He's like, we got Malari, pretty much hologram phone. That's what we're gonna call it. Doing a message. It's pretty much saying
message.
He's pretty much offered. He's also lets know that Jakar was in on the plan, and he's offered to free 2,000 imprisoned Narns, half right now and half after the Emperor gets that data crystal, the whole setup. And for a moment, as much as we see and look at this picture with Jakar looking at Refa, that there's a face of like discern and disgust for what's happened with the mass drivers, but you can hear in the tone of his voice that, like Meme says, the no F's to give. But in this moment where he's getting 2,000 of his people released, there is an F to give in this, and that he's finally getting his people some freedom. And that's a big F to give for a lot of people, especially when they're one of the oh my God, did I say Talri? I meant, is it the Tal? No,
Talri.
Talri. I was about to say the Tal Shiar for some stupid reason. I was about to say
Kali.
Kali, thank you.
Okay.
Kali.
I almost said Khaleesi.
No,
getting all the gods mixed up, guys.
These things happen, Kate.
That's what it says. Yes, don't damage the head and the face. Damn it, don't damage the head and face and leave it intact for identification. But says the rest is fair game. And yeah, then all we see is one oh shit look, and then this, and then it just goes all out.
It literally, it's one of those things where it's like the just music comes on, and it's, yeah, it was almost kind of a Benny Hill moment. Yeah, you're talking about like say offing a dude, but it's like it is a pretty bad dude. And again, this is science fiction. They totally wanted to do it. Oh my God, the shot I took out from seeing Lord Refa again and his head pounded.
Mm-hmm.
Let's also not forget that we also get all of a sudden as that's going out, and you can tell, you know what's going to happen if you have to see the scene. We're getting all of a sudden, we're switching back to the church. They're having that sing along, and it's just fitting so well with everything that's going on. And I'm like, I'm definitely seeing Sister Act 3 right now.
Love and the murder. This episode takes us further. Continue.
Oh, thank you. But it's that's why I love this episode. I love Lon doing this. I don't like what he did with Veer. I like the fact that even though him and Jakar are enemies, that they came together to do this, and it shows that the respect of life can outweigh even if you hate the person on the opposite side of the table.
Could this be the like
almost tipping point when they start to get along again, though? Because I mean, not quite. You don't think so?
Wait, is this around the time when the script was written?
I can't say so, no, because I think there's still more to happen. This is 2,000 lives. This is like if we're looking at Star Trek. What the needs of the one, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
I mean, it's definitely planting a seed because he did something. I mean, it was mutual gains, but I don't know, freeing thousands of people versus having your childhood enemy off is.
I think Sheridan really made a bad choice on getting Kosh to do the demo. Demonstration of power.
Well, I mean, he wouldn't have gotten everyone on. See, that was the thing. It's like if you're going to have a League of Aligned Worlds to actually like be willing to fight, it's like even what was it? One of the other folks that was going to bow out. It's like, do you have equal power? And then they just cut away. It's like, what's he going to say? Yes, I do. Yeah, I got a bunch of white stars. Is it equal power to all the shadow vessels? How can he say yes?
Well, technically, it is because they are based off Morlon and Minbari technology. There still are living ships to a degree. The Shadows have never run into these ships before.
They also had to pull out the random, like, quote-unquote apologies again to my Minbari comrades.
To a
mover.
But not even that. It was to a degree.
They hadn't beaten them one-on-one, except with Tallman.
I thought that was Londo saying, now I know why their heads are so thick because it hurts when you knock them out. But this is also where Delenn shows the fleet of the White Stars and how much the religious caste has been setting up for what we're going to have is another great war.
That is this episode.
Yes, it is. Well, look behind them pissing. You can see it all.
Okay, I can see it now on the screen.
And this in itself, the same way like we're looking at Jakar and Londo and how freeing 2,000 lives of Narns is giving some type of faith and hope within him, as much as we don't really see it that much. This is showing hope that they have more at their disposal than just one white star. That all of the 9 races that have decided to group with Babylon 5 have also been contributing, and they're going to be there. It shows that they can do something.
It's a good illustration that Delenn is well aware of the long game as well, and that's part of why she doesn't like him just hunkering in his war room and feeling like he has to burden this alone, because she's doing the work too. She's right there in it. Come again?
She loves him. The minister even said
love
that.
Each other.
He loves
they
haven't. Mountain says this episode shows the cooperation is possible. Not that they ever may be friends, but they have mutual problems that they deal with together in the future. Yeah, that's true. And Arwen says this is a moment of agreement for Londo and Jakar, but they still have a long way to go. I can agree with that, and I don't want to spoil anything because there's still stuff. If you remember the time travel stuff, we haven't seen everything yet, and this doesn't feel like. Yeah, and then we get this ending scene where they finally make out. Yeah.
God.
Get their Tron hands going.
Tron?
Yeah, he was in Tron.
Yeah, I know that, but okay.
Sorry.
No,
he was not only fighting for the user, he was fighting for Delenn.
So what you're saying is player 1 was ready?
Are you in the bathroom? Mother!
Oh, God, he was.
Oh my God! I'm gonna clip that for later and use that as a short.
Yikes.
Yeah, you know how you knew he was in the bathroom? Because the echo sounded different in the room all of a sudden.
You chose to acknowledge it.
You chose to flush with the mic on.
Hey, there was dead air. I was trying to fill in time. Yeah.
That fleet is over a decade of work from Delenn. Yes, I agree. He cannot confirm or deny he was in. I'm not doing it. Nope. But let's start. We should probably. Does anyone else have anything to add before we start wrapping up? Because I know we're getting close to the 2-hour mark. A lot of people
I have a gift for Arwen coming soon. I got distracted by coffee.
Okay, but I still give this like at least a 4.5 out of 5. Like it was that good for me. I can rewatch this again because there's always something you're gonna miss again in the future. What about you, Kate?
I like this one. I'd say 5 also. Like these are definitely my 2 favorites among my favorites for the season. There's not a lot. There's like less than 5.
What about you, Jeebus? Because I think Memes is still wiping.
I give it a 5. Memes is still wiping.
Yes.
Hey, that he was on it. Shh. I give it a 10. We give it a 10 because you got the ability for somebody of God to communicate a message in an extremely tactful way, so appropriate. You saw a dude that did some very nasty things, get his, and then all of a sudden at the end it's like, I told you needed a break. By the way, here's 1,000 more ships here, and we got to make out.
Yeah.
10.
All right, cool. We're wrapping up. I do say that next Monday we'll be back again. I'm going to check the calendar quickly for those that always tune in. Probably, I don't know how the holidays are. For the 27th, I'll find that out later on because I don't know what happens after Christmas for people. But yes, we'll be back on the 13th. We'll be doing episode 21 and 22. I believe we have that many left. Yeah, so it'll be 21 and 22. 2 of my utmost favorites that I have been waiting for forever, and that is Shadow Dancing and Zahadum. Those are going to be the 2 episodes we're doing next week, same time. I want to say thank you not only to my panel who had to either leave early or are still here, whether they're in the bathroom or not. Y'all have been great. I can't believe this has almost been a year of Babylon 5. It's been great.
We've been babbling on for a while now.
Yeah, it's been going for quite a while. And
look, I mean, we memed the show back into reality with the maestro running it.
We did. Thank you. I've never led an orchestra before, but I love you too. Other than that, I want to say thank you to my mods, the members, especially the new members and the members who keep supporting my channel. It does and has been helping a lot. I want to thank everyone who comes in here for a first time or a repeat offense, listening to our weird shit some days. You guys are fantastic. What makes this great. I love talking to you guys. I love you guys participating, sharing yourselves, sharing your stories, sharing your even emotions. Because like today we got kind of real in the first episode, and you guys are just great. Thank you. I want to wish you a happy holidays if you're not going to be able to make it in the future, whether it's a Christmas, a Hanukkah, even a Kwanzaa. I guess I have to say that now. I don't know.
Hanukkah is now technically over, at least on the East Coast, at sundown.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to be respectful, I guess.
I called my old man with 3 minutes to spare.
Oh, cool. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, Memes will wash his hands. You all take care. Have a good night, and we will return. I'm just trying to find my outro.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.
Hit the button.
And remember, don't let anyone dictate who you are. Like what you like. Love what you love. And be yourself. It's the only person you go to sleep with and wake up with every day.
Usually.
Thank you, man. All right, I'm not going to be serious no more on the show anymore. I'm just going to not do anything with it. Like,
hashtag not all. I sometimes like the commentary at the end better than the show.
Maybe.
You're so popular, so we get in so much stuff. I should totally clip some of these things.
There's no popularity here. There's people that are fans of the show.
Oh. You mean you're actually genuine? How dare you, sir? That's not how the game works. I apologize.
I'll tell Keith.
No, not really.
being myself. Refa did nothing wrong, and that's why he's dead. Yes. And I'll say one thing: we're having pub chats on the 18th. You're welcome to drop by. It's open streaming members and friends. Share a drink, share a laugh. And I'll be doing something for Christmas. So if you're not celebrating, there's always a channel to look out for. Take care.